Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my brother a character letter to help his court trial after what he did to a friend's daughter? Hey everyone, so I, 28, female, have a brother, 31, who is looking at serving time in prison for intimate relations with a minor 14 female, who is one of my friend's daughter. This has been going on for months as evidence states, and we only found out a few weeks ago. When I found out about this, I had a discussion with my friend and apologized for what happened, but understandably she wants space. I have also cut off my brother as this whole situation is just disgusting to me. My parents, however, have stayed by his side and are trying to say the only reason he did what he did is because he has autism and didn't know what he was doing was wrong. Despite them being shown text messages where he states himself that what he was doing was bad and he could be sent to prison for it. However, after they spoke to my brother's lawyer, he stated that we could each write up a character letter to be presented for him in court so the judge can have better understanding of who he is beside the incident, but I refused because I don't think he deserves it. I'm currently 6 months pregnant, and I don't want my daughter to be around, grow up with a man like my brother. I've spoken to my husband about this for another opinion, and he agrees with me not submitting a character letter. But we are thinking of talking to the children that my brother was around in the family just to make sure that he hasn't done anything to them. My mother is dying, and she says she doesn't want to pass while her son is serving time in prison for something, in her words, that wasn't that bad. Both her and my father are pressuring me to do this, and seeing them so upset is hard for me, but whenever I even think about doing it makes me sick. I just wanted to ask for everyone else's opinion on what I should do. Me and my brother were extremely close up until this point, which I think is making this harder for me. Should I cut out my parents too? Should I write the letter? Now for some comments. Character reference. I thought my brother was a great guy until I found out he was having intimacy with a child. Came here to say this. Write the letter. Be honest. Did your parents ask you to write a positive character letter or just a character letter? Honestly, I doubt that the letters will do much difference either way. I would write that character letter, explaining that he isn't stupid, that he always knew what was right or wrong before, and then give that to the DA. Exactly, and certainly include this one single line. I don't want my daughter to be around or grow up with a man like my brother. You know he's a massive danger to your own daughter now. Write the letter, but don't make it about how good he is. Just make it honest. It's tough to understand why your parents would want to back your brother after such a terrible situation. They seem to be glossing over the severity of what he did, which is frustrating. By minimizing the situation, they're missing an opportunity to support the victim and show accountability. It's really concerning to see them choose denial over reality. Last story with update. Am I the a-hole for bringing up just how much I actually do for our household to my wife? Can't believe I actually have a reason to post something on Reddit, but here I am. My wife, 41F, and I, 42M, have been married for 15 years. I apparently surprised her by being capable of doing household chores and tasks, which I didn't think much of. My mom always asked me to help out with chores when I was a kid, so I didn't think it was beneath me or anything. I do think I inherited her need to clean excessively, like it's so bad that I can't eat until a mess is dealt with. My mom is an amazing cook. My aunt was a literal chef at a fancy hotel, and my dad loved having barbecues. It was pretty natural to learn from them and pick up a thing or two. The only thing I didn't pick up was how to make a decent cup of tea or coffee. I'm genuinely awful at it. It got to a point where I was handling most of the household chores and taking care of cooking, which I prefer anyway since she comes home exhausted. I've been asking our children, 11F and 9M, to do some minor tasks around the house and hopefully teach them this sort of thing too. She has a group of friends who hang out regularly. This time it was her turn to host the group at her home. I offered to take our children out for the day, and it was all set. Before we left, I had to finish up some things for work. The office space is practically on top of our living room, so I could hear what they were talking about the entire time. One of the friends asked how she always kept our house so spotless, and my wife just bragged about how she was responsible for it all. Then they all started talking about their gripes with their marriages. A common theme was how unhelpful their spouses were. I felt pretty uncomfortable, so I just left the office and went out with the kids. I came back after they had left for the night and acted as normal until we got to our bedroom. I asked her what was up with that conversation they had and pointed out that I did the cooking and cleaning in our marriage. She told me not to take it personally and that she just wanted to fit in with the struggles of her friends. Now I just feel unappreciated, especially since I don't clearly remember any genuine gratitude for what I do from her. Since then, she's been pretty short with me. She says I'm weaponizing what I'm doing against her and holding it over her head. I don't expect her to compliment me each time I clean or defend me religiously, just a little, "My husband is pretty helpful, actually, he does his share," would be nice. I can't help but feel like her friends think I'm some sort of deadbeat who comes home to relax and neglect her. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. You're not weaponizing what you're doing against her. You're just insisting that she doesn't lie about you and badmouth you to her friends, which is exactly what she is doing. She knows that she is in the wrong here, hence her hostile response. She doesn't have a reasonable defense for her behavior. Personally, I wouldn't let this go. Her friends are people you will have to socialize with from time to time, and therefore, what they think about you does matter. Love it. His wife is accusing him of weaponizing his competence. That's a fresh take on here. OP is not the a-hole at all, but I think I might have some idea what's going on in his wife's head, which might help talking about it. Some women really internalize the idea that all the work around the house is their responsibility, to the point where it's embarrassing for them to have to admit to anyone that their partner is doing some of it. I had to deal with it with my parents ages ago. My dad retired and started to take care of the cooking, and my mom's sister mentioned it at one point, and my mom absolutely melted down thinking it meant she was a failure. Like my mom, who is as emotionally constipated as you'd expect an 80-something-year-old woman to be, was worried enough to talk to me about it. The only way I managed to get through to her was to tell her that anyone who criticized her was probably envious that my dad was helping around the house, and that besides, my dad enjoys cooking, so she's being a thoughtful partner and leaving him to it. It's not a healthy way to think, but it is a way some people think. Now for the update, I think I'm just done at this point. I did something I never did before and went into her phone while she slept. We both know each other's passwords, so it wasn't really difficult. Some of the cheating comments got to me, and I felt pretty paranoid about this situation. Instead, I found a group chat with some of her work friends, different from the other friends she had over. It was just non-stop mockery of me and some of the stuff I did for her. She told them how embarrassed she feels to be with me, and that I dote on her like a parent and don't feel like her husband. The lunches I pack for her are humiliating because I add sweets and other treats I know she likes. Some of her coworkers teased her about the snacks I have for her, and she admitted to just throwing them out at work. She doesn't have any issue eating them at home, but at work she throws out my baking? She had some choice words to say about me in her chat, some of which I don't have the courage to type out here. One of her meme pictures was of me on my knees, scrubbing a bathroom tile, edited to have some sort of dress on, like I was some sort of housewife from the 1960s or something. I just closed her phone and left the bedroom. I confronted her about the chat in the morning and the contents of it, which got her panicking. I focused on our kids this morning and left her to her own devices. It's not like she would have appreciated a kid's lunch anyways. Now she's texting me like crazy at the office, but I think I lost all respect for her and what she's become. Not only does she find me overbearing and embarrassing as a husband, but then I find out she mocks me to her friends and exposes some sensitive relationship issues to her group chat. This will probably be the last update since I don't think she can come back from this. We'd just celebrated our 15th anniversary last month, too. I feel like a loser now after seeing what my wife actually thinks of me. Now, for some comments, I completely agree. You're not being unreasonable by wanting her to be honest about your contributions. It's important for both of you to have a clear understanding and respect for each other's efforts, especially in front of friends. Her reaction shows she knows she's in the wrong, and it's unfair for her to misrepresent you. Since you'll have to interact with her friends, Their perception of you does matter. OP. Not the a-hole. This is the hill op should die. What a self-centered witch. Not the a-hole. My sister used to do this, but with my clothes, asking to borrow something, we'd go out. People are like, OMG, your dress is so cute. Where'd you get it? And she'd be like, I don't know, just had it. Like no witch with a B, it's mine. You know it's mine. It would drive me crazy. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day, but damn. Just give credit when credit is due.